Good morning, all. You know that my talk is on the subject of balance, how lost, how regained, how maintained. And I'm going to incorporate, of course, the teachings of the unity movement, which will be the 5 unity principles. You'll hear those come in and out of the talk. And I want to start by recalling the big picture. I think it's a very important idea in everything we do to look at the larger scope, the larger field of vision, the bigger subjects that we come across when we're studying anything at all. I regard myself as a lifelong learner, anything at all. Whenever I'm curious about something, I get a book on it. And there's nothing better than to have a series of references around you to dig in. And one of the things that I found very valuable was a publication. It's now defunct, doesn't exist anymore. It was called Gnosis, Gnosis, which is the word is the root of the word knowledge. So in Gnosis, they like dividing the Western traditions into groups. And one of the groups, the first one, was the great monotheistic religions. You might say the Abrahamic traditions of Islam and Judaism and Christianity in any order. And those comprise the major monotheistic religions. Then also part of the big picture, the Hermetic tradition. And the Hermetic tradition has to do with ancient Egypt and the philosophy of alchemy. And alchemy is the idea of the 4 elements: air, earth, fire, water. And it is said that the ancient Indians went to Egypt. They learned from Hermes Trismegistus. They learned about those elements. And they have their elements too: earth, air, fire, water, ether or space, or the meditative state. And in that all-encompassing set of elements, we have evolutionary chemistry. From alchemy, we got chemistry. And from the ancient Persians and their astrology, we got astronomy. So there's a constant elemental rotation. So the earth, air, fire, water of the Hermetic traditions, that also includes Neoplatonism. It includes the mystery schools of Freemasonry, Rosicrucianism, so many other movements, and the writings of many authors. This is part of the big picture. And then folk religions, native and folk religions, part of this bigger group of knowledge. And then transpersonal psychology. And everyone has been touched by some aspect of counseling, psychotherapy, and so many paths of interpersonal help. So altogether, that is the big picture. And unity is certainly our Christ-centered, Bible-centered path, is part of this big picture. It follows one line from the Abrahamic traditions. So there is the big picture of the paths, the Western paths. Now, there's a lot of overlapping among them, so we can really remember that we are part of the big picture, And the big picture, of course, all comes issues forth from God, and that first principle in unity. God is absolute good, everywhere present. There is only one power, one present, God, the good. So in that, sometimes we're stuck. You know, this pandemic has been really rough on some of us, really rough. And the way we have been coming forward from the difficult part of the pandemic into more positive aspects of the pandemic, the way we are doing that is by using our teachings. So getting unstuck, that's going to be the way we can express the idea of finding balance again, getting unstuck. Because nobody benefits if one person is stuck. we're all going to feel it in some way. We know this in our family, in our circle of friends, that when we're feeling divided, when we're feeling out of sync or discordant, fragmented, these are all aspects of dealing with our stresses. Nobody benefits. So it's in everybody's best interest for us to reunite, the unity. So the conflicts that come up, if we look at the bigger picture and see that God is the one power, we don't have to have the divisiveness. We can remember that all is one anyway, and we have to see that we are connected to a bigger picture. Sometimes conflicts really don't exist except in our minds. And in my practicing with my fellow humans to find unity, to find common ground, I'm constantly reminded that I have to step back and look at the bigger picture. Then I find more unity. And with that comes the idea of dualism. Now, the Abrahamic faiths are dualistic. It's a characteristic, dualistic. It's us and the divine, and we seek to reunite with the divine. However, there is the aspect of spirituality called monism. Now, monism says all is one, that we are part of God. God is in us. God is every part of us. We are part of the big soul. And there is a unifying idea which is monism. And that is very helpful to contemplate when we're thinking about the big picture. And therefore, we can say that there are no sides. There's only the one side. The Tao says that this is one universe and it's all in balance. And we're all trying to maintain our balance in a bigger universe. The whole universe is already in balance. And if we can see that, the big picture is more logical, more usable. That's the whole point, to use these teachings. So human beings have this spark of divinity within them, the Christ spirit within. Their very essence is one of God. And therefore we are inherently good. So we have to use this good and exercise our will. There is going to be the tool that's going to take us forward when we feel like we're stuck, when we feel like we are stagnant, not moving forward. We remember that we have will, and we can exercise this will anytime with the divine spirit, with this huge energy outside of us that is also inside of us, because there is no side, like a Mobius strip. We all remember what the Mobius strip is. You take a piece of paper, give it a half twist, join the ends, and with a pencil, you will be able to trace the surface and get onto both sides of the paper. So this Mobius strip is a reminder that we can connect with the parts of ourselves that we think are inaccessible sometimes. So one great exercise you can practice, and this is in many fields of endeavor, not only within unity, but anytime you feel stuck, make a schedule. And I've had to do this many times as well. Make a schedule and stick with it. And you could say, okay, I'm going to list my musical instruments today. Or I'm going to list the skills on the computer that I need to refresh. And then you put down a 20-minute period, half-hour period, whatever it is for you, a 1-hour period. And at the end of the hour, you have another activity designated. Maybe it's to take a few breaths, refresh yourself with some sitting yoga practice. Then you go to your next activity. And you keep doing that until you have achieved your agenda. That sounds a little bit regimented, and it is. And it is, because that is the stuff of progress. We look at all of the progress in the world, and those creators and co-creators with us have used these exercises, staying on an agenda. And along with that, balance and an agenda and moving forward. Here's a valuable idea. In moving forward, we have to lose our balance a little bit. When you take a step forward, if you just lift your foot, you're not going anywhere. You have to let your body weight fall forward. so that that front foot will catch the ground again. And then you repeat that process. And pretty soon you're moving forward. This sounds kind of pedestrian, I know, because you have to be a pedestrian to walk anyway, do you not? The idea of having this body weight moving forward means you have to take a chance. You have to take a chance and see what is going to work for you to get going. So there is some spiritual risk taking also. We have to lift that foot and move forward figuratively in spiritual life. And I love this saying. This comes from the Chinese wisdom, which is vast and much older than Western mysticism. But here is a saying, I really love this. He who deliberates fully before taking a step is likely to spend his whole life on one foot. So you lift that foot, but then you have to get it down to the ground a little farther than before. Sounds basic, but it's a good thing here to remember this. You have to lose your balance a little bit for some progress. So through prayer and through meditation, we're going to align our heart mind with God. And this is the fourth principle here of the 5 unity principles. So this coherence with God has to also manifest in coherence with our fellow humans. Vertical and horizontal coherence. You know, the very well-known gesture of the sign of the cross. We can look at the sign of the cross and the cross generally as a metaphysical reminder that energy coming down from the heavens, you could call that coherence vertically with God, with the universe, the known universe, and horizontally, this plane of existence. And the horizontal and the vertical are always together. And what's in the middle? You could say there's a rose in the middle, the rose of your soul personality. And these are always present. Even if we think we're losing track, we're not really losing track. So in having this coherence, we can compare ideas of others with our own and what resonates and what does not resonate. We have to know that. And that takes thought. And that takes a gesture of cooperation. I'm going to move my computer here a moment, because there's a wonderful pair of books that I've been picking up now and then. One is Applying Philosophy. Applying Philosophy. This will be on your screen in the recording. And a couple of you have emailed me now and then, which is wonderful. I love it answering you. Another book I have is part of a series. This one happens to be The Philosophy of Religion, but it is also part of a series, Philosophy and Logic in Other Fields too. Wonderful books. They're heavy going though. They're heavy going for me too, but I have to do the work. I have to cycle through what I do not know in order to solidify what I do know. And putting it into action, there's our 5th principle. Knowing and understanding the laws of life, also called truth, are not enough. Through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know. We live the truth we know. You have to start with what you know to build upon that. And that's a great reassurance for all of us, using our creative thinking. That reminds me of another anecdote. I know maybe you've had it up to here with my army stuff, you know, but I do thank you, Neil Goodman. But there's one thing I remember about creative thinking. There was a guy I knew in jump school, and he was afraid of heights. And he signed on for the airborne so that he could help himself overcome his fear of heights. So we were going through the training, you know, lots of running and a big rucksack, 55 pounds, you know, and the parachute, and breaking up the elements of successful jumping from a plane into pieces. Any new skill you want can be divided into shorter pieces, smaller bites. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. There you go. They all chimed in unison. So anyway, I knew this gentleman, and on our first jump, I heard this on the ground now. But when we first hit the ground after the first jump, everybody was so amazed and elated. Well, I talked to him. He said that when he jumped out of the plane, he vomited as he was exiting the aircraft. Well, he said that his ejection, the vomit just disappeared. It blew away. The wind carried it away. He didn't get any on his uniform or on the gear. It just disappeared. It was swept away, the wind of the aircraft. Now, the aircraft has to be going between 75 knots and about 125 knots. That's the airspeed to get the parachute open. Otherwise, you ain't going to make it. Or the parachute won't open, something like that. Anyway, he was brave enough to jump, and his reward, you could say it this way, I say it this way, that his reward was his discomfort was swept away. And he had a good jump because he was brave, because he applied the principles one step at a time. So when we're putting together a routine for ourselves to regain some power in our lives, to take charge again, using the unity principles is going to go a long way to taking us to that next step, helping us not only lift the foot, but falling forward into an actual step, taking us a distance forward. Maybe it's a short distance, but you're going to move forward. And now here's another exercise. This relates to a little bit of risk taking. Set a goal. Set a goal. Maybe it is a long-reaching goal, far-reaching. That's okay. But pick something that is doable, something that is not so inaccessible that you lose track of it, that you lose your momentum. For example, you're not going to build a replica of a Navy destroyer in your living room. You're not going to be able to do that because it's just too big a project. How about a model? How about a scaled down version of your addition on your home? How about a drawing of a planning of something? How about a flow chart of an organization for your business, or a flow chart of something you want to learn about regarding government or business or education? All of these ideas are available to the internet. Is a wonderful place to start. So have a plan, and then set dates and times when you plan to have the different components finished for yourself. So for example, I'm going to make a flow chart for the education faculty of a school I am planning. So what is the first step? Who am I going to need on board with me? What are the roles that they will play? So I have to start somewhere. Okay, so by Tuesday, I will have a list of the different positions in the school that I am planning. This is just an example. And then a few days after that, you're going to have another plan and you're going to stick with it. And remember, you want to make things in your agenda, put down things that are approachable, things that are doable, because you want to feel satisfied with this. Satisfied. And it's the same idea with anything. For example, in my yoga teaching, I encourage people to look at the way they are in this moment. All of us can do that. Look at the way we are right now and accept where we are. Let's accept this. This is the way it is. In the next 10 minutes, I'm not going to change anything very, very major, but I can plant seeds. Certainly enough, I can plant seeds and then water them. Watering the seeds is important. Keep your momentum going. So there has been a set of the 5 unity teachings and the ways of looking at them for real application. Because we know that sometimes in spiritual life, we can look at all of the vast possibilities, all the miracles in history. But if we cannot apply them, then they're just going to be kinetic. They're just going to be in the air, unresolved, and not very useful until we bring them into feet on the ground, taking a step forward, making an agenda, writing it all down. So if it's okay now, I would like to lead a little visualization. Neil, is this a good time? Thank you, I shall. Well then, let's get comfortable. I know you're all sitting, so let's get comfortable to sit with the spine straight. What I'm giving you now is a set of guidelines for any school of meditation, all of them, Eastern and Western. All of them will start with a straight spine and easy breathing. So this means you can have your hands on your abdomen if you like. And let's feel some easy breaths coming in and out. Let's just feel the action of peaceful breathing. You try to make this maybe from about 4 to 6 seconds. Inhale. Same exhale. It's just rhythmic breathing, feeling peaceful. And then we can relax the face muscles. We can relax the shoulders a little bit while still maintaining a good straight sitting position. Feeling relaxed and yet also feeling alert. Let us visualize now a goal. It could be a very simple one, like cleaning one room of the house. That's easy. Or how about setting up a notebook for your journal? Or planning for a business endeavor, whatever you want. I'm going to be quiet for about a half a minute. Now you select something in your mind that is doable. So with this goal now, you can see in your mind that it is very easy to separate some of the components of this goal and resolve that you're going to make a little timetable for yourself. You're going to set a pace with days and times noted when appropriate. And using the strength of your will and using your good imagination, you're going to feel that you are successful with achieving even the little steps, So you're feeling solid, you're feeling comfortable with your goal. And so we'll come to the end of the visualization. So once again, you let your mind return to the present. Coming back. And if the eyes are closed now, you can look downward so that you don't have a lot of information coming in again, that you're allowing light to come back. You're here. You have the foundation for a good plan of action. And so it is. So back again. Oh. So there you go. That was pretty simple. And this action we're taking is applicable to anything, any endeavor. You can use a visualization plan for any of this. You can contact me privately. You know how to get hold of me. Just grab me by the lapels at the Home Depot. So, how am I doing, Neil? If I may, I could turn it back to you so you can give us a guideline about what the congregation would like next. What's up next?